All right, guys, welcome to another episode of In the Woods with James, where we learn more outdoor skills. Today we're going to be tying and learning some knots. This knot is a figure 8 on a bite, and we won't learn this one today, but this is just a cool knot that you can learn how to tie. All right, so the first thing we're going to learn, how to tie a square knot. We're going to learn how to tie 2 half hitches. Then we're going to learn how to tie a taut line, and then we're going to finish off with the timber hitch. All right, so a square knot, 2 half hitches, a taut line, and the timber hitch. All right, so the parts of a rope when you're working with knots. All right, so the different parts of a rope. The first part we have is the working end. So if this was the end of the rope that I'm working on, and I'm going to tie a knot, this would be the working end, and I would tie a knot right there, and that would be an overhand knot. Then we go from there, we have a loop. So the rope has been folded in half, forming a loop. Then from there, we have a bite. That is where you just take the rope, you don't quite fold on top of itself, but you just make what's called a bite. And then from there, we could tie, say, a figure 8 on a bite. And then the end of the rope that you're not working with, that's just called the standing end. So we have the working end where you're tying the knot. We have a loop where the rope goes around something, comes back to it. We have a bite where it's folded kind of in half, and then from there you tie another knot, and then the end of the rope that you're not working on, that's called the standing end. First knot is the square knot. So I have a length of rope. I have both ends. I have this hand, it's the right hand, and left hand over here. So I have 2 working ends of the rope. I'm going to take a little bit of slack, so I have a little bit of tail, and I'm going to take my right hand, and I'm going to go over my left hand and come under, kind of like I'm starting to tie my shoe. So I'm going right over left and going under that rope. Now I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to go over the right and then kind of back under it as well. So left going over right. And then I'm going to take my 2 ends of the rope, I'm holding on to both of them and I'm pulling them tight. And that forms the square knot. So again, that is going right hand over the left and back under, and then going left hand over the right, back under, boom. All right, so I'm gonna make that even easier for you, and I put an orange rope in my right hand and the black rope in my left hand. I'm gonna take my orange rope and I'm going over my black rope and under it, boom, like I'm tying my shoes, okay? Pull a little bit of slack for that black. Now I'm gonna go with my left hand now. Left hand has the orange. I'm gonna go over the black, back under it. I'm gonna grab both of the ends of the rope, boom, pull them tight, and that's the square knot. So again, I'm going right over the left like I'm tying my shoes. Now I'm gonna go left over the right, and then I'm gonna pull that tight, and we got the square knot. So we'd use that square knot if I had maybe a bundle of sticks or twigs bundled up, boom, I throw the rope under it. I could take that square knot, boom, cinch it down tight, finish off, and then I could carry those twigs together. This knot's used in sailing. This is kind of used to hold stuff together. Not really a weight-bearing knot, but it's just a kind of a good knot that you can maybe tie a gate together or tie a gate closed, or you could tie stuff onto a pack, or just use it around the woods. All right, so I'm gonna add on a 5th knot. Once I show you that knot, it'll make the other ones a little bit easier because you'll kind of see what the end of it's supposed to look like. So this next one is called the Clove Hitch. That is the Clove Hitch right there. You could see this one if I was gonna tie up a horse to the hitching post. I might use a Clove Hitch. I also use a Clove Hitch a lot when I'm doing lashing. So when I'm making things out of poles and I need to attach those poles together, I'm gonna start with the Clove Hitch, and then I'm gonna use some lashing to put those 2 poles together. You might see the Clove Hitch used in climbing as well, but it's kind of a knot that's kind of is used to put the rope onto a pole. All right, so here we go. I got the working end of the rope. I'm gonna take it over the pole and I'm gonna come under it. So now I went around it. I'm gonna take that working end now and I'm gonna cross over the rope that I took around. So that's crossed over it. Now I'm gonna come back under the pole again. Now with the piece that I went over and made a cross with, I'm gonna send that working tail end through there, and then I'm gonna pull that knot tight. So it comes out just like what I tied a second ago. So I'll pull that apart and we'll talk through it again if you can see it. So we're gonna go over the pole and around it. I'm gonna come back over it, I'm gonna cross the rope that I used. So I cross the rope. Boom, cross the rope just like that. I'm gonna come back under that pole, and then I'm gonna take my tail and I'm gonna stick it under what I crossed over with, forming the clove hitch. And it cinches down on itself. Here, let's try that with an orange rope and see if it comes out any better. So, I'm coming over the pole, and I'm gonna go around it, all the way around. I'm gonna cross over that rope. I'm gonna take it back under the pole, and then I'm gonna stick it through, and then I'm gonna pull those two tight. Boom, the clove hitch. All right, so that next knot, and the reason why I taught you the clove hitch first was because the next knot is the 2 half hitches, and it looks similar to like you're tying the clove hitch back onto the rope after you came around, say, a pole or through a loop or something like that. So it's gonna end up looking similar to this, except pulled a little bit tighter. So it kind of looks like the clove hitch right here has been tied back around onto its own rope. All right, so here we go. I have my working end of the rope. I have a kind of walking stick that I'm gonna tie this onto. I'm gonna take my working end of the rope. I'm gonna go under the pole first, and then I'm gonna come around. Now here's where I'm gonna tie that clove hitch back onto itself. So I'm gonna tie 2 half hitches, right? So I'm going, I'm crossing over. I'm gonna go back under the rope, tying kind of a half hitch, and then I'm gonna cross over that one just like I was tying the clove hitch and push it back through. And now we have 2 half hitches. This rope's kind of big, so it doesn't quite pull down tight and show you a good example, but I have 2 half hitches tied onto the rope. So there's 2 half hitches right there tied onto the rope, and when I pull it, it's kind of pull it tight. So we'll tie that again. I'm gonna take my working end of the rope. I'm coming under the pole. I'm gonna cross over, but go under, back under it. Now I'm gonna cross over the rope just like I was tying that clove hitch, and back up through the bunny hole. All right, so there we go. We got the 2 half hitches tied on to, say, a tree, a pole, your tarp, grommet, anything that you need to tie a rope around just to hold it tight. You would tie the 2 half hitches onto whatever that item is. All right, so that next knot is gonna be the taut line hitch. It would be used if I need to pull something taut. So if I was putting up, say, my camping tarp to make a shelter, I'm gonna tie at the grommet end. I'm probably gonna tie 2 half hitches, maybe even a clove hitch right there where that grommet is. And then down towards the end where I need to tie it off to the tree and pull it tight, I'm gonna go around that tree and I'm gonna tie a taut line, so then I can pull that knot and slide it down that rope, and it's gonna pull that tarp and that rope kind of taut. All right, so we're gonna take that working end of the rope again. I'm gonna go around, say, the tree, and I'm gonna come back to it just like I'm starting the 2 half hitches. So I've kind of crossed the rope. I'm gonna go back under it in that loop. I'm gonna go under it once, and I'm gonna go around that rope twice inside there, and then I'm gonna finish it off by crossing over, going back around and then back into my loop, forming kind of that weird looking clove hitch, and it's gonna finish like that. So then as I stretch that out, I can pull this knot this way, and it will kind of hold just like that. So here we go, working into the rope. You're gonna go around your tree or your pole, come back to itself and kind of cross itself. You're then gonna take it back under and come up under this way. Come up under your loop. You're gonna do that once. You're gonna go back over your rope, come back inside your loop. There's your second time, and then you're gonna cross back over this way. Boom. Now you see where my finger is sticking up through my rope. I'm gonna come over my rope and back into that loop and then pull it tight. Boom, just like that. Then when I stretch it out, boom, it holds tight. All right, so the next knot we're gonna tie is called the timber hitch. We would use that hitch if we need to pull a big log. If we need to tie a rope around it, or we can still get that rope off, we would tie the timber hitch around it, and we could hook it up to the tractor, the truck, and we could drag it to wherever we needed to go. All right, so here we go, timber hitch. We're gonna take our working end of the rope. We're gonna pass it under all these logs that we have. We're gonna come up and around them. Then we're gonna come around the standing end of that rope. So it should be looking just like this now. So we have kind of a bite around that rope. I'm going to take this working end of the rope and I'm going to start wrapping it back around what I came around all those logs with. So you can see I'm wrapping it around. I'm going to do about maybe like 5 times. So then when I take this now rope and I start pulling it down, it's going to cinch down on top of itself. Then I could hook that to the tractor, and I could drag these logs up out of the way. So again, the timber hitch. We're going to come up under our logs. I'm going to take that working end of the rope and I'm going to come around that standing end. So now I kind of have a bite around that standing end of the rope. I'm going to take my working end right here and I'm going to start wrapping it down back towards where it came. We're doing about 5 wraps right here. And then as I pull down and I'm cinching down on this rope, it is pulling down, cinching down on those wraps I did, and now I can drag this up out wherever I need to go.